Hey everyone, Steve here from NetBeez, and today we're going to be covering the agent management section of the dashboard, and this is for the latest version for us, which is version 4.0. We're going to go over very quickly agent types, and we're going to go right into the dashboard and show you exactly how to manage the agents. So we have four different kind of agents: wired, wireless, virtual, and software/container. The wired agents, we've had two of them, the Gigi and the Fasti. The Gigi is up to 1 gigabit per second. That is our current model. The Fasti, which is retired as of now, was up to 100 megabits per second. The wireless model supports wireless 802.11 AC. The virtual agent can be installed within a virtual environment, anything such as a hypervisor. And in some cases, such as Juniper, Cisco, and Extreme, some of their newer switches also support hypervisor. And we've also seen support of Docker as well, and you can install in those instances. And lastly, the software/container. That's going to be where you're going to install the Linux package on your own hardware, such as a Raspberry Pi, or as you see in a previous video, inside the Docker application on a Windows 10 Pro or Enterprise laptop or desktop, or a Mac. Okay, so let's start with the brief overview of the Agents tab. So here we have what's called the list view. So you can see top corner here, you go between list and grid view. And the grid view is going to have more of a quick summary, what kind of agent is it, all the tests are running, any open alerts, things like that. And then you can also go over to inventory. And this will give information such as the MAC address, agent IP, what DNS server it's connected to, the speed, also any open alerts, and the software version as well. So here we're going to click on my unrated server. And here you can see the IPv4, and if you have an IPv6, it'll also show that. The MAC address that's assigned, the current TX rate and RX rate, and then the maximum speed throughput, in this case up to 10 gigabit per second. And here you can scroll between the time frames for this information up here, such as availability, how often that this agent has been reachable. So we'll go back to today. And here you can see all the alerts and the history of what was going on. So in this case, we can see that Salesforce was not pingable today multiple times. And then we can obviously from there look at any of the other agents and see if they had the same problem to help isolate potentially what's going on. So if we open this, we can actually scroll through and you can see there's a bunch of spots where Salesforce had some ping failures. So you can actually see right here, we'll shrink this down a little bit. You can actually see all these little pings failed. So this is probably 10 or 12. After 5, it's automatically going to then create an alert. Then over here is where the console is. You can actually run console commands if you'd like. And then we're over here. This is where you can resume or pause all tests. You can rename the agent as well. So as soon as you deploy it, it might have a very generic name. You'll want to name it at some point to make sure you can identify which one's which. You can delete the agent. Do note you will have to then redeploy it. Keep that in mind. You can blacklist the agent. So if somebody, say, if the agent goes missing, somebody isn't able to reactivate the agent on your cloud instance. You can also assign targets and also the agent group settings as well. So we'll click on assign targets. As you can see right now, I'm currently monitoring Facebook, Google Apps, Netflix, Reddit, Salesforce, Slack, and YouTube. Those are ones that I personally want to monitor in my home system environment. You can see I am part of the Pittsburgh group. So you can click here. You can put this agent in multiple different groups if you would like. In my case, I only want it in the Pittsburgh group. Now to manage your groups, all you have to do is go to Manage Agent Groups. And here's where you can edit the existing groups, and you can also set one to default as well. And if you were to set a group as default, what that means is all new agents will automatically go into that group and inherit those targets and those attributes whenever they're attached to the dashboard. Now let's go ahead and add an agent group. Here you would select what agents you want to add to the group, and do note that one agent can be a part of multiple different groups. So in this case, we could select the 2 in Pittsburgh, and then my unrated server, and then we would also assign the target. So any new targets that these agents we've selected don't already have will automatically inherit. So in this case, we can click Google Apps, Salesforce, and Slack, and then you would simply click Save. Lastly, we're going to look at one of our Wi-Fi agents. We have 1, 2, 3, 4. You can tell by the Wi-Fi symbol. And we're going to go to the wireless tab. And here you can see every single time we do the periodic disconnect and reconnect, how long it took from association, authentication, and DHCP, and ultimately if the connection was successful. And here we can go into view history. And this is really important because you can see the red is disconnect, green is reconnect. And this is actually the periodic disconnect reconnect that we have set to do every 5 minutes in our instance. And when you kind of go through, you can go through the history. You can see, how consistent. That's a little bit on the bigger side. How consistent were there a lot of drop-offs, and so far we can say this has been a very stable network during this particular time frame today. And that's it. Hopefully you found this pretty helpful. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me and the team at sales@netbeez.net. What's coming down the pipeline, we're going to be looking at doing tests, Wi-Fi anomaly settings, and a hotly requested one, reports to show some ROI to the upper management team on how well network's functioning. And then lastly, again, version 5 is going to be the next major release we're working on, so stay tuned for that. As always, if you liked the video, hit the like button. If you think anybody could benefit from it, hit the share button and share it with them. And as always, this is Steve from NetBeez, and I'll see you in the next video.